Like I think of like the things I used to read in university and school, which were like really like intense, and I'm like, how did I do that? Now I'm like, I see a TikTok which is a little bit deep, and I'm like, I'm so smart, you know. But what you say is interesting. There's more women, but men are just more vocal because they're just like always scolding people and yapping away.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, it sounds like you have a very tight-knit community
Loyal
and
community.
loyal
Really, man?
community, according to Nicole on the Telegram channel. Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Chatterbox. I'm Edo, your host, and today we are talking about internet culture in Singapore. We have three special guests here today, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I make TikToks. That's about it.
Hi everyone, I'm Mermaid Girl and I make videos on TikTok as well.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a therapist from Tai Ho.
Okay, so we're gonna start with a short game called This or That. I'm gonna give you guys two options, and I'm gonna count down from 3, 2, 1, and then you say the first answer that comes to mind. Okay, Snapchat or IG stories? 3, 2, 1.
IG stories.
I don't know. I don't use Snapchat. You use me?
No.
I think Snapchat kind of died down already.
I just like IG.
Video or voice call? 3, 2, 1.
Video.
Video. That's
Did
too
you say
stressful.
voice?
I said voice. I wouldn't see me. You know, if that's like an extra layer of things I need to think about. If you like video me, I have to be like, oh my god. Okay, WhatsApp or Telegram? 3, 2, 1.
Telegram.
WhatsApp.
Nar.
I just love the stickers on Telegram. What is your favorite social media app and why?
Instagram. And I also like TikTok. Yes, it's very fun. Lots of features can play with.
I would say Telegram and TikTok. Okay, for Telegram, I can share my life on my Tele channel because I update it regularly. And for TikTok, it's like doing collaboration with different creators, and I think there's more outreach also. Yeah.
My favorite app used to be Facebook.
Oh my god.
Because I used to join a lot of random groups. That was before TikTok started. So once TikTok started, then you know that now TikTok people post their recommendations and stuff like that. So I lazy scroll it, TikTok just feeds it to me. So I guess now it's TikTok.
I do feel like Facebook was way better for community though, because remember the
Yeah.
events as well. I would find out about so many events through Facebook randomly. Was TikTok not really? Okay, describe your online persona in 3 words.
I think I'll say YOLO.
Let's forward.
No, well,
no,
that's wonderful.
Carefree and spontaneous. Yeah.
I feel like I vibe with that also. Now because I'm in Reformation era, reformed vibes. And I want to say this word, but it's so
Just
hee-hee,
spill.
I'm quirky, random.
Self-care, self-love, self-compassion.
I love how you just knew that. You didn't need to think about it, I feel.
She's got her branding down.
Okay, well now let's actually deep dive into what we're here to talk about today, which is
Okay.
internet culture in Singapore. Well, first let's share some facts we have about the topic. Based on research published by We Are Social, 96.9% of the population are internet users and 84.7% are active social media users. Okay, what do you guys think are some of the key reasons why people even use the internet in the first place? What about you, Mermaid Girl? This whole idea of people using social media to connect, because it sounds like you have a very tight-knit community,
Loyal
and
community.
loyal
Really, man?
community, according to Nicole on the Telegram channel.
Actually, social media is sort of a own branding for yourself, and it's more of if you relate to others, people will end up supporting you as well.
It's just because of how information and whatever you see, right, is so curated to the algorithm for yourself. You also end up landing yourself in an echo chamber of what you believe in. And so I feel it helps to empower whatever beliefs you have, and then now you're thrown into this space where, oh my gosh, I open the comment section and everyone has the same similar point of view as me, which is a double-edged sword because sometimes more ignorant perspectives also tend to be hardened.
At the beginning stage, it's always good. We can build communities because there's so much diversity there. It's actually borderless. So I think it's good. But then we follow up with face-to-face communication. And I think it's very important. The personal touch of it is very important.
Okay, so one last thing I wanted to, okay, 2 more things, but one of the last things I wanted to ask was about the connection between the internet, mental health, and dating. Because I feel like we live in an era where everyone has a footprint online. And I'm very curious, like, how does this affect dating? So, for example, someone like you, Mermaid Girl, like, how does that affect you in your dating life?
I think people would sometimes be embarrassed that like they're dating me because of like the things that I post online. Okay, for example, someone who is a very private person, like likes privacy, that kind of stuff, they will want a partner that's maybe also private. But for me, I'm a very like open, like I think there's not much secrets in my life. Like everything is shared online already, like people know. So like my other half might not accept that
Being on social media and dating, right, and having my boyfriend like start from like dating someone that is not online to dating someone that's online, I think he had to also like grow with it.
What do you think, Hannah? Like, cause I feel like this is something that's like relatable also to like people who aren't like necessarily famous online, but like, cause everyone has social media nowadays. So do you think it's actually like unhealthy for dating now that we have all this information about everyone before even meeting them?
I agree to a certain extent. Digital footprint, like whatever we post about ourselves, would have an impact, yes, on how people perceive us. But again, if the person is attracted to you or you're attracted to each other, it's up to these two persons to really get to know each other.
But do you think actually like a lot of the times relationships go from online to offline? Because you ever feel like you have a lot of internet friends that like never become real friends in real life, and I'm like, is that actually any good for me?
I feel like then it's up to you to make a conscious choice whether you want to like be this person that's like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with everyone, hee ha ha online, but in real life I actually don't really like vibe with you, you know. And I think it's potentially because like I'm quite introverted also, so like the thought of having to make friends at 25 when you already have like quite a steady core group of friends, right? A bit lazy.
I think there is a place for online friendship and online relationship, but not for too long. Like maybe you can meet each other online and after a while you may want to meet face to face. I think that's the real human relationship should be. The true connection, face to face interaction.
So I wanted to ask you, Mermaid Girl, like you seem very confident online. Like, I mean, part of the reason why you went viral is because you were so confident, right?
Hide your man.
You know?
Because a big girl is coming true.
So, but would you say you like also are like that in real life?
I would say I'm still confident, but I do have like insecure days as well.
Can I ask like your thought process when you like post that video?
I think I did that because I'm trying to get back at someone at the shop.
At the shop?
Because like got this one girl with her boyfriend and she was judging me on that day. I don't know lah, she was just like
Okay, so you were at a place and then like a girl was with her boyfriend and then she was judging you.
yeah.
Then you were like,
Like what, she gave you a look?
Okay, so I was queuing at the shop, so I just let her move first. But then she judged me instead. So I was like a bit not happy.
Okay, let's move on to something slightly lighter. Memes.
oh my gosh.
What is a meme? Maybe let's just start with that. Like, what do you define as a meme?
Like a very popular moment of internet pop culture.
Okay, well, so in a way, because I would say you kind of were a meme
I think I would consider it a meme.
for a while.
Yeah, I was for a while.
Tell us about that process, like going from like just posting a video to then suddenly being like a meme. Like, is it a positive thing or is it like, I don't know, stressful?
At first, like it was overwhelming. I was very shocked that like it blew up so much. Then after that, I started getting a lot of hate comments from that. Yeah, but I think the main thing is that like I think haters will just hate on you for no reason lah. But just don't let them affect you because like they only dare to like do like keyboard warrior stuff online, but they don't dare to tell you in your face.
What do you think about the sound of the fact that like online everyone is so quick to be angry and hateful, but then in person it's like they can't back it up?
I think it's good for them to do that. Can you imagine if everyone really acts on their feeling in the public? I think it would be more chaotic.
Oh my god, I'd rather that though.
Yeah, it would be.
You would rather
I'd rather that so I can report to police. Like I can be like, bring to the police station, at least I can identify you.
Then it really depends on what extent, to what extent the person is hating. If it's just a hate comment, I don't know, like, we can't please everyone. There will be people who dislike us no matter what we do.
With my experience with haters, I feel like usually it comes down to them being insecure. Like it's
Yeah.
like they're so insecure about something and something about your content triggered that insecurity and that's why they... So it's always really a them issue
Yeah, you
in a
know
way.
what I don't like, right? Is whenever I see videos of like girls getting cars, Like they like, oh my god, I managed to get my first car. Like I've seen a couple of vlogs about it. All the guys in the comments, oh my god, why you buy this model? Wow, this one who buy one, your father is it?
So now that we know a little bit more about internet culture, let's take a deep dive into what it's like to be on the internet. Specifically, there's this phrase that has come about, which is being chronically online. So someone who is chronically online is someone who spends so much time online that it skews their sense of reality and hinders their ability to effectively communicate about topics like politics or social justice because they lack real-world experience. We're all probably chronically online.
I feel like I am, like I've lost my ability to speak properly. I cannot remember like grammar, like just basic grammar. Is that me just being dumb and leaving like the educational world for too long, or is that me being chronically online?
I think it's you being chronically online because I feel that. Like I think of like the things I used to read in university and school, which were like really like intense, and I'm like, how did I do that? Now I'm like, I see a TikTok which is a little bit deep, and I'm like, I'm so smart, you know?
I've also lost ability to retain information, you know? Because we learn so much things on TikTok, but it's given to you so fast, and then now there's this like ×2 button. So I feel like I'm very educated, but when it's time for me to sit down and have a conversation about the topic that I feel I'm educated about because I watched one TikTok about it, my brain just cannot like feed me back what I learned.
I think like for TikTok it's very addictive. So I can find myself like scrolling through TikTok like maybe 2-3 hours. And then like sometimes I forget to like take my meals.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one thing I never forget. Is like when it's time to eat, I'm like, "Oop." What I assume your like bubble is on social media is more of like the confidence, like young, carefree, being young, party. Okay, I don't know, like that kind of vibe of people, right? So do you ever feel like you're not getting adequate amount of like exposure to conversations about like, I guess, social justice issues and stuff like that?
There are people who tell me about like certain issues that is coming out also. Yeah. But it's like more of like word of mouth. On my
So
For You
not online.
page, not really.
Yeah, so I guess based off of all of this, how do we kind of like protect ourselves and like protect ourselves from what we see online and know how to like filter and kind of like distance ourselves from it?
I think at the end of the day, we choose to read what is good for us, what is useful for us. We don't look at everything out there that may not be relevant for us.
So according to 2022 CNN article, Singapore's government has been looking at ways to deal with cancel culture. Authorities said they were examining existing related laws and legislation after receiving feedback from conservative Christians who expressed fears about being cancelled for their views by vocal groups online. Do you guys think a law canceling cancel culture would be beneficial?
What are your perspectives on cancel culture to begin with?
I think accountability is important. Like I think when people say like really problematic things online, it's important to hold them accountable. What I disagree with is the whole like, canceling comes with the idea of like over, you're done forever, which I don't like.
Cancel culture essentially is your boss firing you. Because
Yeah.
your boss, right, is really your viewers. If they don't want to watch you anymore, they don't want you to be part of the space, then you get fired. Like that's how there's no like entity that hires you. You are hired by the people that view you. But at the end of the day, right, I feel like you cannot cancel yourself. I mean, you cannot get cancelled unless you own self cancel yourself. And I feel like cancellation, if you don't own self cancel yourself, that means you don't retire from the internet by yourself, right? Cancellations does nothing but bring more eyeballs to you and lifts you up even higher. Like look at her. Like honestly, like essentially like she was in cancellation era, you know. Like you are the
I got
one that
cancelled
really
before a few times, yeah.
experienced cancellation and you are still here.
What else were you cancelled for? Was it just that one video or is there other things that happened?
One time I ranted about my trip in Japan before. And I got cancelled a lot for that. Okay, like I got a very bad experience there lah. Like many bad experiences.
In Japan?
Yes, but a lot of people did not have that experience. That's why they were saying like, oh, because I'm racist and all that. But actually, I really did have very bad experiences.
You must
there.
tell the story, like what happened. You must say so that people got context also.
Okay, so like that time I wanted to go and buy clothing from Babe store. So I actually walked all the way there. It was like maybe 15 minutes walk. But the store was about to close. By the time I reached the shop, it was like 10 minutes closing. So they had like this 2-level shop. On top is like girls section, below is guys. So they closed the girls section. Then I said I wanted to go and see. Then they don't allow me to go. Then they just gave me an iPad and asked me to like look through the clothes. Then I was a bit offended lah because I felt like I already went all the way there and then like why they don't let me shop, you know? It's like I rather like shop online. Yeah, so that's why I was pissed off lah.
There's one first occurrence. What's the second one? I'm a fan
I think mainly it's like that time I went to one restaurant with my mom, then like and then I ordered this kimchi pancake. So the kimchi pancake was not well cooked. And then it was not like the Korean kind that I like lah. So I went to tell them to redo it.
Wait, so you go Japan, then you order Korean pancake, then they never do well enough like the Koreans, then you go scold them.
I tell them to redo it for me. Then after that they say they cannot like redo or refund. Yeah, so I got a bit pissed off.
But I don't think that stuff gets you cancelled. I feel like this is a conversation starter. You know what I mean? Like people will come after you, but I also feel like there's always people who defend you, right?
No, I feel like she got cancelled
Really?
to a certain extent because like it was quite bad. I remember.
Even Japanese people were stitching my TikTok. Yeah.
Okay lah. But like, you know sometimes you must ownself check ownself, right? You go Japan, then you order Korean pancake, then you're not happy that they cannot make as good as the Koreans, then you go complain online. Like if the Japanese angry also, like I will say sorry, I feel bad. I anyhow go inside cooking, but how did you like recover from it? I really want to know because like I feel like yours, right, when you kena cancel or you kena trended, right, it's really like next level, like global sensation kind
At the end of the day, as long as you're still doing new content on social media, I mean, people will forget about what you said in the past lah.
But okay, do you feel like you got learn from it or like after you kena and then you see all these like comments, right? Like for example, people explaining why, because like, I mean, in every situation where you blow up and like it's controversial, got the same people that honestly I feel like you're wrong for that kind of thing, right? Do you read and like you internalize and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna come out as a new person, or you like f these people?
I don't think there's any specific ones that I really care about. Yeah.
But don't you also think you should like be like, maybe like I went too far, or like maybe I could have like.
Definitely, I did have some self-reflection. Like my parents know about the news also, so like they told me to like not talk about other country anymore.
So that's your main takeaway.
I think like it made me feel like I should just be more sensible like to other culture. Like shouldn't just like share too much stuff online that is like that might hurt other people.
Hannah, maybe you can tell us a bit more of like, because I've had similar situations, and I'm sure you have as well, where there's a lot of people coming after you. Yeah, how do you like recommend people deal with these kind of situations?
We take in those that are constructive, like we just mentioned, those that will help me to create better content.
From a more like psychological perspective.
Yeah, because like in order to do that, you have to scroll through all the ones that it's like, hey, you. Then how?
Yeah, you just tell yourself it's not about you. It's about them. That's why they write that way. I tell you something, if I really care about you, or rather it's something that affects me, I will probably tell you nicely how I want it to be done. And if they want to talk that way to you, that's really not your issue, it's their issue. So I guess this is what boundary is all about.
Actually, that's a very nice like perspective to like reframe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about you, really.
Okay, so for our final segment, we're gonna play a little game called Fact or Cap. So if I read a statement and it's true, you put the happy face, and if you think it's false, you show the sad face. Number 1, Singapore internet users spend more time on the internet in a day than the average global user. True or false? Correct! Singapore users spend an average of 22 minutes more on the internet than the average global user. The average amount of time spent online is spent mostly on social media. True or false?
Actually, now with TikTok, I think true.
All true. Actually, you're all wrong. 9 in 10 Singaporeans users watch videos via the internet each week with an average of 2 hours and 45 minutes a day. There are more cellular mobile connections than people in Singapore. True?
I think.
Correct.
Oh my
The
god.
Singapore population is 6 million and the number of cellular mobile connections is 9.2 million. On TikTok, there are more female users in Singapore than males.
Nor.
You think there's more guys?
From the bigoted comments I see on like a lot of people's videos, pretty certain. A lot of men that have like, they never go and sign up. Then it's user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
So you think it's more women?
Yeah.
Okay, Mermaid Girl's correct.
Oh, more girls. You
They're,
see.
based on data published in January 2023, 53.5% of TikTok users in Singapore are women. But what you say is interesting. There's more women, but men are just more vocal because they're just like always scolding people and yapping away.
yeah.
Yep. The most time spent on social media apps is spent on TikTok.
No, I think false. I think it's Facebook. Like, I feel like we're severely underestimating the sheer amount of boomers on Facebook.
So it's actually not TikTok. It's YouTube. TikTok users spend an average of 20 hours and 18 minutes per month on the app, but YouTube users spent 20 hours and 54 minutes. Okay, it's very close, but still
Okay,
YouTube.
time to switch to YouTube, I guess.
Next, the most watched videos online are comedy videos or meme videos. True or false?
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're all wrong. It's music videos.
Oh yeah!
You actually forget, right? You forget about music videos,
Oh
but
my
like, do you actually
God.
watch music videos though? I think I don't watch it.
Last time, but now I've been like on
Watching.
that. Yeah.
Last one. When it comes to digital media subscriptions and downloads, online users spend the most money on video games. True or false?
No, I think it's Candy Crush. I would spend money on Candy Crush.
What
I
else do people spend money on?
What was it? Tinder?
Other subscriptions do they get?
Oh, is it OnlyFans? Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Okay, it actually is video games.
Oh, okay.
Based on the year 2022, users spent 215 million on video games. Mermaid Girl, you won!
Oh my god, internet pop culture queen.
Okay, so to wrap it up, if there's one piece of advice you could give viewers out there about being on the internet, what would it be?
I think we need to be gracious in whatever we post, whatever we share out there.
I think to the young people out there who are always like comparing themselves to others on like social media, you should never strive to be like someone that you're not. And you should always learn to like accept yourself.
Being a content creator is like high risk, high reward. So like if the content does well, then it becomes your job and then like, okay lah, slay. But if it doesn't do well and you get trended for the wrong thing, you must always remember in the future your boss can Google your name and that might be the first search result. Like multiple articles about you doing something stupid online when you were like 14. So like, think first before you put yourself out there.
Off of that is like, yeah, be careful what you post, but also don't overthink. Like, at the end of the day, the internet is like, it can be a creative outlet. And I think like, don't be too worried about being like cringe and stuff like that. Because I think,
Oh yes.
you know, everyone's always like, oh, is this cringy? Like, I don't want to do this. And you end up like stifling yourself and
Yeah.
not being yourself because you want to like look cool and look like this. And that's always worse. Like, just be a little bit cringe sometimes. It's okay. Okay, guys, we've come to the end of this episode. I'm your host, Edo, signing off. If you like this video, please
Like and comment.
Share.
Subscribe. Bye.
Bye.